Hello, Jessica Frost-Ballas here, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm sharing a cheery fall card with lots of die cutting and a little ink blending, so let's get started. First, I die cut the flower petals from the Lovely Layer Sunflower set using cardstock from Papertrey ink in Lemon Tart, Harvest Gold, and Summer Sunrise. I also die cut the sunflower centers using Hero Art's Chestnut and Bazzill Peanut Fudge cardstock. Next, I add a little dimension to the cardstock by blending Distress Oxide inks onto the yellow flower petals. I use Squeezed Lemonade for the lightest shade, Scattered Straw for the middle, and Wild Honey for the darkest shade. I use a blending brush to lightly apply ink from the center of the flower to about halfway up the petal, making sure to fade out gently to the cardstock color. This just gives a little more interest to each flower layer, but if you're short on time, you can skip this step. Then it was time to adhere the flowers together. The die cuts some decorative score lines into the petals, giving them more dimension. This also allows you to line them up more easily. I usually look for something distinctive like the grouping of 3 petals in the middle layer and then match it to the bottom layer. If you've got it lined up correctly, you'll cover up any of the petals in the bottom layer that don't have those scored lines. I add a little glue to the center of the bottom layer and then adhere the middle layer. Using liquid glue gives me a few seconds to make sure the petals are lined up correctly before the adhesive sets. I do the same with the top layer using the petal with a slightly wonky edge as my reference guide and adhere the top layer. The flower centers also line up to each other and to the top layer of the petals. You can use some of the more distinctive curved edges of the flower center to line them up. However, if that's too much trouble, the flower looks equally charming even if it's not perfectly aligned. Once I finished adhering the flowers, I also created a third off camera. I blend my background using Distress Oxide inks in Tumbled Glass, Salvaged Patina, and Prize Ribbon. I wanted that bright blue cheery sky you'll see on a beautiful fall afternoon. I recently started experimenting more with the Distress White Heavystock cardstock, and I'm kinda shocked to admit that I might love it more than my favorite Strathmore Bristol Smooth. I wanted to try it a bit before recommending, but I'm really happy with the smooth coverage it gives. The inks blend really nicely, though they blend best if the pads are well inked, and I'm pleased to see that unlike the Strathmore, I don't find the need to trim off the edges as the blending seems to go more smoothly across the edge. I'll keep playing around with it, but for now, I definitely say I recommend it for Oxide ink blending. You can find more tips and tricks for ink blending in the video linked above. Once I was finished blending, I dried the panel and adhered it to a top folding card base. Off camera, I die cut the things from Peanut Fudge and Brown Glitter cardstock and adhered them together. I stamped the rest of the sentiment from Thanks onto Peanut Fudge cardstock and heat embossed it with white embossing powder before trimming it down to a thin label. Eventually, I also decided to die cut the third dotted Thanks layer from white cardstock to help the sentiment stand out a bit more. I adhered the flowers to the blended panel with HG adhesive and then trimmed the excess off the sides. Finally, I adhered the sentiment to finish the card. And that's it! You can find more information on the products I used in the YouTube description below or over on my blog. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up, and I'd love for you to subscribe to my channel. If you do subscribe, make sure you click the bell so you're notified the next time I post. Here are a few more videos you might be interested in, and until next time, have an amazing day and happy crafting. Bye!